Hi, I'm Marika from My Creative Quilts, and today I wanted to talk to you about chain piecing. I had a couple of people tell me that they didn't really understand the concept behind chain piecing, so I thought I would take a few minutes and show it to you. So let me just redirect the camera so you can see my sewing machine. This is my Brother sewing machine, and it's how I do most of my piecing if I'm not using my featherweight. So I am making a quilt with lots of blocks that need a lot of continuous piecing. Right now I have 40 of these blocks that I need to put these strips onto. Stopping and starting each time would be a real pain in the neck. So what we do is chain piecing, and you don't stop and start between each block. It goes a lot faster. So I prepared these ones to show you. So sometimes I have a little piece of fabric here. I do leaders and enders, and they're tiny triangles or squares, and I stitch them first to start my sewing, and then I put them in a basket for future use. I have little pieces of fabric put ahead of time. But other times I just have a piece of fabric here that I start, and I sew on it just so that when I start sewing my piece, I'm not starting with a long piece of thread on here, because sometimes it gets pushed into the hole. I don't know why it happens, but it does sometimes. So I start with this. So I have my piece ready, and I have my 1/4 inch seam. My foot has a 1/4 inch edge here, so I'm being consistent each time. I could follow the line. Some people put pieces of masking tape or other types of barriers to help guide. I do have a metallic 1/4 inch thing I can put here, but it's really for my featherweight more than this because I have this 1/4 inch foot. So I have my piece ready. I line it up. My stitching has already started, and I just start stitching, guiding the edge of the fabric along the 1/4 inch seam. And I keep going right down to the end. Now, this is where if you were sewing a garment or something that needed to be secured, this is where you would backstitch to give it an anchor. But instead you just continue, and you take the next piece and you go along and you start it again. And you just keep sewing. I have it set at a standard width. I know every machine is a little bit different. This one I have at 2.5 length. And then you just keep going like this. I'll just do one more. You just keep going. Make sure you're keeping your 1/4 inch. And then when you're done, you just sew off the edge. You can do an ender, which is another little piece of fabric, or 2 pieces of fabric, whatever you want to do. And then you just remove your blocks, and then you separate them either with a pair of scissors, or I have a cutter here. And here I have some blocks that have been chain pieced, and they're just ready to be pressed. And that's how you do chain piecing.